Namaste, greetings, blessings, and love, everyone. Cheers. True Patriot, also known as CC2 Arms, and we're back. We're a little bit later getting started this day than we normally would like, but it's been busy and productive thus far. Lots of work, lots of work. Producing one's own food and medicine is most definitely a labor of love. Emphasis on the labor aspects. What we need to do today is we need to get our water ready, our soak water for some more beans, some more seeds. We also use this water basically all around for all of my germination. I use rainwater that has had the kelp meal added to it. I feel that this has not only contributed to my germination success, but just the overall vitality of the plant. Now this is true regardless of plant species. However, the first time I ever did this method, I was in fact germinating autoflower cannabis seeds. I wanted to ensure success. So, anyway, I hope everyone's well. Hope everyone is doing lovely this day. I've got me some reverse osmosis filtered water here that has had boron added to it. Borax. It's good for decalcifying the pineal gland to help break down the concentrations of sodium fluoride, and we know that it attaches itself to the pineal gland, rendering it ineffective, virtually useless. Cheers, folks. Beautiful day here. Beautiful day. You'll see I've got a few cameras set up. I've got the one on the laptop that's right here staring at me. There you go. That's our laptop camera. We've also got a cam that's set up a little bit farther away that's just basically showing you the bucket right now. Then I also have another cam that's pointing directly into the bucket. We're just going to agitate it. It's nothing fancy, folks. You do not have to incorporate oxygen into this equation. It is beneficial to do so. I find that when you do so, you're basically, in essence, thoroughly incorporating that kelp meal into the water. Nothing fancy, folks. I could be long-winded and give scientific explanations and blah fucking blah, but the fact of the matter is, put the kelp meal in the water, mix it up real good, there you go. Anyway. You'll notice what we have here is we just have some pure and natural kelp meal. The ratio that you will find beneficial is about a tablespoon per gallon. If you deviate up or down from that ratio, you're not really going to have a problem. I've just stuck with a tablespoon per gallon. I've also got some other seeds. I'm going to get this water bubbling. I'm going to let it bubble for a bit after we add our kelp meal. And then we'll get some cups out. Maybe put some labels on some cups. Maybe drop some beans or some peas.
How are you?
Who knows? Anyway, labor of love, folks. We're growing our own food and producing our own medicines and foods from what we're growing and producing.
Start making something with this here. See what we come up with.
Smells like the ocean. I miss that. I really, I do. I'm fond of water. I've been to many oceans, and I got to say, Mississippi Gulf Coast, Louisiana area, really always taken to that area. I don't have quite 5 gallons here. You're looking at approximately 3 gallons, 3 tablespoons. I happen to have a teaspoon measure, so that's going to be what, 4 teaspoons? So 4 times 3, 12 teaspoons. There we have it, folks. Kelp meal in the water. One of the main reasons why this kelp meal is beneficial is the growth hormones that are within the kelp. I gotta turn my bubbler on. Might get kind of loud. I don't know how much the microphone is going to pick up or not pick up. If the audio is unbearable, my apologies. This is nothing. I'm just trying to spread some love, hopefully through teaching others some of the skill set. I should mention, though, with my bubbler, it's a, I found that the fish tank aquarium pumps tend to wear out prematurely. I do find that I get better life if I seek out stronger compressors. Anyway, on those I use a, and you can pick up these stones fairly cheap. I would suggest Amazon. I'll show you my stone. You can get bigger ones. And we're bubbling our water, folks.
Hello, H-top.
Now you could do this the period of time. It's not a variable that you really need to focus on. Naturally, the longer you do this process, the more you're going to oxygenate that water. Drink it. While that's bubbling, we can look at some seeds. Again, all heirloom, all organic, all GMO free. This is the slenderette version of the bush beans. We're probably going to get some of those soaked. We will get some of those soaking. These are the early Alaska variety of the peas. We will get some of those soaking. These are the tender green improved variety of the bush beans. black eyed peas, the California cowpea variety of the black eyed peas. It is not 100% necessary that one pre-soak beans, seeds. It's not necessary. It will substantially shorten your time for germination. It will also likely improve your germination rate. Since I grow a lot of organic heirloom fruits and vegetables that are 100% natural and I need them to sustain my life, I do not shop at a grocery store. I don't buy that crap. It is important that I have a certain level of success. So I try to take every step I can take to ensure the success of those ventures. Smoking a cigarette. My apologies. I am sincerely trying to get away from this, my only vile and nasty habit.
What's up, Rapper Jesus? What's going on, bro?
I'm just gonna mix it up, just to make sure.
Rapper Jesus, what's up?
Plus, I like to incorporate more myself
Good to see
into
you,
this
man.
water.
Must be late where you're at.
You see, plants, a lot like me and you, have
What's
feelings.
Up?
And all of the love that you put into this process,
I don't know.
the plants will pick up on that.
I mean, I would look at the audio and find, I'd look at the video and
You reap
listen
what
to
you
different
sow,
stuff
folks.
and
Reap what
try
you
to see
sow.
what works with it. You know what I mean? What up, Carolyn? 12. 1 to be free. I think that's how you say it. Carolyn, 1 to be free. Pinky Ackerman in the house. Simply Deep. What up? H-Top Music. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you. We're working on some little spooky Castlevania type music here. Alright, let's see what else we can do with this here. Maybe some pluck strings, some plucks. Check out this Chinese banjo. Something bad.
I thought I had an ink pen. I will need a way to label these solo cups to ensure that I don't mix them up.
Too many times.
Anyway, I do have one out here somewhere. Sharpie, perhaps. Or then again, maybe not. In which case, I will just take the envelope, I'll throw my beans in it, put the cup on top of it, let it rest. Hopefully they don't get mixed up. I find that pre-soaking beans specifically for a period of 24 hours tends to be optimal. It's not rocket science. Yes, cheers, local grower. I have just added the kelp meal to the water. The kelp meal's bubbling away right here. We've got the early Alaska peas, all organic, all heirloom, all non-GMO, all non-hybrid. The tender green bush beans. We've got the slenderette bush beans, and we've got some of the California cowpea variety of the black eyed peas. I've actually got about 100 other beans that are needing to get done via this method, but I've been much too busy to do that much. Anyway, cheers, friend. Thank you for being here. And another thing, while I'm, for the purpose of this video, I've not done this step, although we can, is incorporating some of your indigenous microorganisms is real easy in this part of the process. Like, for instance, I have some dirt that comes from here locally, right here on the farm. Yes, sir.
What's up, June Gall? Shannon Miller. Hello, Shannon Miller.
And that is a that pump that I'm using puts out significantly more volume of air than does a aquarium fish pump.
Hello, how are you?
You ever seen people that have sleep apnea and that wear the mask for conditions while they sleep? I use one of those pumps. They tend to last a lot longer. Matter of fact, I've got an extra one here I can show you.
Motif to this instruction we got, and then we'll start throwing some drums on there. Alright, let's see what we can find. I want some strings, or I might just go with some synth. Don't want to use a harp. Kind of want some type of keys.
You can pick them up. What I tend to do is I look around at my local thrift stores, Goodwill Industries, Salvation Army, secondhand shops, and you can find them really cheap. And when you do, grab them, because I've not bought a pump in, I don't know, 5 years. What I've got here, folks, I do a lot of talk about incorporating indigenous microorganisms to everything that you're growing. Yes, mammoth pea and products such as that could help you, but you're introducing microbes that are not native to your area. Yes, they're beneficial microbes, but the key emphasis needs to be on native microbes. Where do you get native microbes? You get them in your backyard. I got a handful of dirt right here that come out of my backyard, and I'm gonna drop it in there. I've just incorporated indigenous microorganisms into this water. No, you don't need mammoth. Because, see, mammoth, beneficial microbes are crucial. But what is even more crucial is native microbes. Native. As in your backyard. The difference being, if I grow a plant that is from California, and I live in California, I'm going to have one result. If I send that plant to a man that lives in another state, and he's going to grow that same plant, he's going to have a different result. You've got to be able to incorporate native microorganisms. No matter what you're growing, no matter where you're growing it, no matter how you're growing it. Yes, in the backyard. And it's real quickly done. To get them to grow and thrive is pretty easy. Keep in mind that you need both your aerobic microbes, but you also need your microbes that exist in anaerobic environments. If I dig a hole in my soil, there's going to be microbial life that's living in the top 6 inches, and they receive oxygen. If I dig down 14 inches, there's going to be microbial life there as well, but they don't receive oxygen. So when you're cultivating or growing these microbes, you need to account for both of them. Meaning you need to have an aerobic solution as well as an anaerobic solution. And it's real easy to feed both of them natural sugars. Your sweet potato. Sweet potato is a real good form of sugars. Now I start setting me out cuts, and it's real easy. I'm just gonna go drop me a cut, drop me a cut. I've got 6 beans that are going, so I guess I need 6 cuts. When pre-treating water, if growing cannabis, I find that this is the best solution. I think that it is superior if compared to just regular rainwater. You can use your same microbes all through your grow from start to finish. You're not changing your microbes because you're in flower. And if you wanted to add, usually, I'll feed with just compost tea throughout flower. You can add your nitrogen. You can add your kelp meal. Kelp meal doesn't really have any nitrogen. It's not going to give you any nitrogen.
What up, Creator? What up, Joker? How you doing?
But a lot of I use a lot of fish emulsions, and those are really good sources of nitrogen. Now, plants are strange creatures. They're like we are in a lot of ways. I often make the claim that plants are people too. What that means is you'll find that some strains are like super nitrogen hungry. And those strains, you'll find, depending on your soil, that they might start getting nitrogen deficient a little earlier than you would like.
Yeah, we're going to start throwing some drums on there.
Usually it's a matter of knowing your genetics. Because if you were to know your genetics, then you would ensure that that soil, since you already knew that there was the potential that they would become nitrogen deficient, you would want to make sure that that initial medium was higher, had a higher concentration of nitrogen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. We'll drop 6 of these early Alaska peas into some water in a cup, and I'll put the cup back on top of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One extra. I fucked up. Excuse my language. And then what I'll do is I'll just set the cup and I'll set the little label thing on top of it. If I don't, I will not be able to keep up with them, and that would not be a good thing. Apparently, I have 60 Sharpie markers, and I can't find one of them. Either that, or I'm just too lazy to get up and find one. Next one. Oh, the California variety of the cowpea, the black-eyed peas. Everybody loves black-eyed peas. Oh. Labor of love, folks. Handful of cowpeas. Actually, I am being kind of analytical. I'm doing 6 apiece. The reason being is I'm already compensating mentally. I'm figuring for how many seedling trays I have and other variables, but cowpeas, they're done. These are the slenderette variety of the bush beans. Tender green variety of the bush beans. It's been fun. It's just time consuming. Right now I have roughly 1,000 plants, and I'm one person and I'm doing it by myself, and it's rough. Yes, this is a pre-soak. I usually will soak any seeds or beans 12 to 24 hours. It's going to cut down the germination time substantially. It's also giving them the growth hormones. If we were thinking in scientific terms, the growth hormones in the kelp, the theory is that it improves the plant's immune system. You're developing a stronger immune system at the very beginning. And I can't argue with it. I have had greater success as a result of using it. It is not mandatory. There's going to be people that are going to say, well, hell, I've never pre-soaked any of my seeds and I do just fine. That's true. I'm just sharing my experience, and I've had greater successes when I've pre-soaked my seeds. So, how did I miss a bean somewhere? Whoop. Dropping beans. Now, while that water is doing its thing, I should probably move this camera and do us a seedling tray. Set up the seedling tray. Set up another seedling tray. get this stuff in order so I can set up this tray. Again, this is a typical seedling mix. It's, what is it, 60% cocoa core, 40% perlite, the real small perlite. Now we're going to add our water and we're going to hydrate this. And the core is like a sponge. I'm going to let it soak up water. I don't have an exact time. I'm going to let it soak up water. I'm going to pour too much water in it. I'm going to let it soak up too much water. Then I'm going to drain off my remainder. And when using your cocoa like this just as a germination mix, technically you can't really overwater. It's just an excellent method, and it's super easy. Now on occasion you'll notice like some of these might be a little more, so before I actually put seed in, you might find cells that maybe you need to get you a handful of your cocoa and add some additional. It's just a matter of personal preference. I mean, you know, it's not rocket science, folks, and it's super easy. And this is a good germination method for literally anything. Some seeds will like to be compact more than others. I know that there's differences, there's different suggestions with regards to different seeds. This is my general method, and I have found a certain degree of success using this method no matter what seed variety I'm attempting to germinate. I'll get this soaking and I'll go grab a seedling tray of something and just, you know, just to show you, you know, some of our progresses with, I mean, I've just got a plethora. I mean, whether, even lavender. And the lavender, they're going to tell you, oh, it's slow to germinate, it's hard, and you got to this and then. Okay, yeah. Everybody has their opinions, everybody has their own individualized perceptions. I'm just sharing my experiences. Now we're going to take that kelp water and we're just going to start pouring it in there. I had 2 extra cups I didn't use. There we go. Keeping in mind this has had our general, our indigenous microorganisms added. We're not going to worry about getting too much because technically that isn't possible. Any excesses that remain will be poured out. I will not keep any fluid in this tray. ahead and make sure it's full. And what you can do, as this is soaking water to help it, because think of your core like a sponge, you can come through and push them down. You'll notice that they start to pop up. You can push them down a little bit with your fingers, and that will help to ensure that not only are they slightly compacted, but that they're able to draw up a little bit more of that solution. Anyway, so we'll put that in there too. We'll move them out of the way. And we'll do this feeding tray just to see the progress after a couple days. Here's a seedling tray. This is about a 4 or 5 day old seedling tray. And this is what you can expect after about 4 or 5 days. And you'll notice that we just have a plethora. There's very good germination. I gotta pull out my lid so I can tell you what that even is. That's gonna be some basil. We've got some dill. We've got some flat leaf parsley. We've got some oregano. And I'm just trying to give you an example. Excellent method. Excellent method, regardless of the strain variety. A little random white rhino cannabis bean that's just floating around. I figure I need to stick it in something while I'm sitting here screwing off. Stick it in something while I'm screwing off. Yeah, I hear that. Oh, that's funny. I just happen to have an extra cup sitting here. I just happen to have a cannabis bean. And since I happen to have all this extra shit, I'm just going to happen to pour some of this down in here like this. It's all labor of love and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I had tried one of the white rhinos before. They didn't do too well. Of course, then again, that was indoor. That was still running the indoors during the indoor grow season. The drivers failed on my light. Kind of catastrophic. Lots of issues. Most of them were probably environmental, and they probably were my fault. I will not blame genetics. Make me a little divot in this here little cup. And I'm going to drop that little bean in that little divot. I'm going to take and pump my little mixture up. Again, this is strictly reverse osmosis filtered rainwater. I try not to allow fluorinated water to come in contact with not just my plants, but my skin as well. Just gonna mist the top. I'm gonna take a little miniature cut, drop that little humidity dome on there like so. I'll be ready to stick that out in the sun and let it grow with the family. I did manage to hike up the mountains this morning. I did manage to get a little bit of video of the Gorilla Groove crosses as well as the Panama Ninja. I did upload a video. If anybody watches this has a chance to check out that video. The Panama Ninja, you'll notice in the video, is the larger of the few. And the Gorilla Glue crosses they're healthy. I'm just not happy with the way they're growing. But, you know, plants are individuals. So. Yes. Do check it out. It should be most interesting. Should be most interesting. Now, let's see here. I've gotten that one done. I've got that done. Got those seeds done. What's that? Some corn. More tomatoes. I don't really feel like doing any tomatoes. I've already got 80-something tomato plants and, germinated, and I've got almost over a couple hundred that are already growing. But yes, and I'm going to end this. I've got some other things to do. Local Grower Organics friends, thank you for being here, man. Thank you for stopping by. Much love, as always. Much love, everyone. On behalf of Volunteer Agriculture, True Living Organics, I'm True Patriot, also known as CC2 Arms. And until next time, folks, try to love each other. Try to be productive. Don't spend your time just being a consumer. Thank you very much, friends. Namaste, love, blessings to you all.